Are you working harder than ever to grow your law firm, but still feel like success is just out of reach? Many law firm owners believe the next million in revenue is the solution, but what if that's not the answer? Welcome to Breaking the £1 Million Myth, the podcast for law firm owners who want a high-profit, low-stress law firm. I'm Michelle Peters, former Magic Circle solicitor turned law firm growth strategist, sharing practical advice to help you grow a law firm that's not just successful on paper, but actually works for you. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to episode 3, the Freedom Firm Framework. Does having a high-profit, low-stress freedom firm feel like a pipe dream? Does it sound like the equivalent of the mythical unicorn, something lots of people talk about, but no one really believes it exists? Well, it's not a pipe dream, and it's not like a unicorn. For some law firm owners, it's a reality. Recently, one of my profitable practice law firm owners told me how happy he was that he'd been able to double his fee income to $550,000 in the previous 12 months whilst reducing his working hours to 4 days a week. It had been a different story when he first came to me more than a year ago. He was overworked, overwhelmed, and not sure if he wanted to continue. In the meantime, his law firm's growth was flatlining. He was frustrated because all those extra hours and actions he was putting in weren't giving him the results he was looking for. The real problem was that his fee income that he'd been generating was not producing any profits because it wasn't enough to do any more than just cover the overheads of running the firm. Imagine putting in all that effort and hours and not being able to extract any personal income or provide your family in the way you'd imagined. And by the way, this isn't a problem that is confined to firms who are only trading at 6 figures. I've seen this at firms doing more than $1 million. So it's not surprising that this law firm owner was so stressed. He'd run out of steam and he was worried about burnout, and it showed on his face. 12 months on, he was telling me the news that he'd doubled his turnover, cut his working hours to 4 days a week, and I could see he was looking relaxed and satisfied. He had that look of someone who set a bold target and achieved it. Most importantly, he'd reclaimed his most precious asset, his time. Time to spend with his family, time to relax, time to look after his health. And what's more, he hadn't just doubled his fee income, he'd started to generate profit for the first time. After 2 years of hard graft, he was finally generating more than he was spending to run the firm, and he could see he didn't need to work the longer hours to produce those profits. It was a big moment for him. When you have a law firm that generates high level of profits without you needing to sacrifice your personal time, health, and mental bandwidth, you create choice. Choice about who you work with, choice about the hours you work, and choice about how you reinvest the profits you generate. Choice about who's in your team, because higher profits mean you can attract and retain better staff with financial incentives. And choice about how you spend your personal income as a result of being in the 200K club and beyond. And as I said in episode 1, I believe 200K is the minimum any law firm owner should be receiving as personal income, given the level of risk they have to take in running their law firm. In the last episode, we talked about why it's critical to treat profitable growth in your law firm as a journey, and why not having the right model or vehicle for that journey can make that journey longer, slower, and harder than it needs to be, making it almost impossible to create the high profit and low stress law firm that you're looking for. So let's start with how to fix your vehicle. Or if your vehicle's already in reasonable shape, let's tune it up for higher performance. This is the critical first step I take with all new law firm clients who want to create a high profit, low stress law firm. Let's talk about how to get started with this. If your car wasn't running smoothly or suddenly required a lot of fuel to get from A to B, what's the first thing you'd do? Well, I guess you'd either look under the bonnet or the hood of the car to see what might be wrong, or if you're like me and love to drive cars but know nothing about the oily bits, then you'd take it to a professional who could do this for you. That's exactly what you need to do with your law firm. Look under the hood or the bonnet and see what's not working as well as it should be or could be. Then you'll know what to fix or tune up for better performance. It makes sense, right? You need to do a business MOT. Except that when you opened your law firm, it didn't come with a manual to help you identify the parts that need to be tuned up if you want high profits and low stress. But don't worry, I'm going to give you my Freedom Firm framework and show you how to use it. The same framework I've given to hundreds of law firm owners I've helped to increase their profits and decrease their working hours. The same framework that helped a client I talked about earlier to double his revenue, become profitable for the first time, and cut his working hours to 4 days a week. In fact, I've already shown you the foundations of this framework, which is the Profitable Practice Model download that accompanied episode 1. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you'll also find a link in the show notes for today's episode, or you can go to www.thebusinessinstructor.com/model. So let me explain how this works. The Profitable Practice Model shows you the 3 core elements of your practice or firm which must be operating correctly if you want better quality clients, higher profits, and time back for yourself. For shorthand, I call these 3 core elements attract, convert, and maximize. Let's talk about each one in turn. So let's start with attract. This is your ability to attract the right kinds of inquiries from ideal clients consistently. It's not enough to attract any old clients or to attract good clients some of the time. Being successful in attract is about having a consistent pipeline of inquiries from ideal clients who you know will pay the fees you want to charge. But you also don't want an exhausting conveyor belt of clients. You want more of a high-end buffet where you pick and choose exactly the types of clients you want to work with as and when you're ready for the next ones. This is achievable when you're clear about how to target your ideal clients, put the right marketing message in front of them, and know how to start an ongoing relationship with them even before they've decided they need your legal help. If you don't have a consistent client attraction system like this, you'll either have feast and famine cycles of client inquiries, which is exhausting and frightening in turn, or worse, you'll be lying awake at night worrying about your latest bout of famine, wondering how you'll pay the bills. One of the mistakes I see lawyers making is trying to achieve consistency of results in this area through marketing activities that are not scalable or sustainable. I don't mean environmentally sustainable. I mean sustainable for you to be able to do it week in, week out without burning out. This keeps them stuck where they are, dreaming of the profits and the time off they hope to have one day, but in the meantime struggling to keep everything going, feeling like they're spinning more and more plates every single day. So, if the way you currently attract clients, whether it's through networking or meeting with referrers or running seminars, requires significant amounts of your personal time, then you have a scaling problem. Because if doubling your results from these activities would require you to double the time you spend on them, you'll pretty soon run out of time, money, and energy to devote to these activities. Meaning your law firm will stay stuck at a level of income that represents the amount of time you are able to devote to these activities. And since time is finite and limited, that's a serious block to profitable growth. So your client attraction marketing has to not only work to bring you a high-end buffet of potential clients to pick and choose from, it needs to be done in a way where the results are scalable without you scaling up the amount of time you spend. Okay, now let's talk about convert. Converting inquiries to paying clients. This is important because you can generate all the inquiries in the world, but if you can't convert them into paying clients, then you're not going to get the results that you want. You're just generating a bunch of free initial consultations that take up your time and don't bring you clients. Let's take an example. If you generate 10 initial consultations from your marketing efforts and offer each one a 15-minute free initial consultation, as many firms do, then you're going to spend the best part of 5 hours preparing for and running those initial consultations. Likely even more time if you follow up with a written proposal or a fee quote afterwards. If your conversion rate is only 20%, then 2 of these consultations will bring you clients and the other 8 will take up around 4 hours of time with no new clients and therefore no financial return. If you have a low conversion rate like this, you're going to end up stuck on the client conversion treadmill, meaning you're endlessly running initial consultations, trying to get new clients, and having to work even longer hours just to keep up with the number of consultations that you need to do to get enough clients each month. This is a major time suck and is particularly dangerous in a time for money model business where every minute counts. So what this means is you need a reliable and effective process to convert at least 50% of your high-quality inquiries into client instructions that earn you money with minimum time spent by you or your fee-earning team. Your conversion results, often expressed as a percentage rate at which you convert inquiries into clients, isn't the only measurement that matters here, though. Anyone can convert an inquiry by quoting low fees, but that doesn't create profits, that creates work. If you want a profitable business rather than a job, it's essential to be able to explain to prospective clients the value of the services you're offering them in a way that makes them open to paying the level of fees you want to charge. Whatever you charge, there are some clients who'll say it's too expensive, and the key isn't to please all the people all the time. The key is to please your ideal clients, and we'll talk a lot more about who they are and how to find them in a future episode. Moving on to the third area in our profitable practice model, this one is called maximize. If you really want a high-profit, low-stress law firm, then you need to maximize the two most important assets in your law firm, your clients and your time. If we take clients first, many lawyers think that once they've archived the client's matter file, that business or individual is now a former client. That's a mistake. In reality, most of your clients will still regard you as their lawyer. Whether you've written a will, helped them purchase a house, or resolve an employment dispute, they assume that when they next need legal help, they will come to you. Which means you still have an opportunity to help them with more legal services, whether that's a repeat of the same service, like updating contracts or wills, or whether that's helping them with a different service that they also need. So whether your clients are businesses or individuals, if you provide a good experience and a good service, they will return to you for more. You can become their trusted advisor rather than being a single-serving transactional lawyer. But, and here's the thing most lawyers forget about, if your client hasn't heard from you in months or even years, you are not acting like a trusted advisor, and there will come a point when they assume you're no longer interested in their business. You've just fallen into the perceived indifference trap, meaning your clients assume you don't care about them anymore. Worse than that, they start to become vulnerable to being poached by your competitors. Picture this. While you're busy chasing after new clients and managing all the day-to-day demands of your business, and just about keeping everything together, your competitor's marketing is targeting the legal needs that your clients have and could hook their attention just at the moment when they have a legal problem or need help with something. Meanwhile, your back's turned and you have no idea your client is defecting. The worst feeling in the world is to find that a great client has just gone to another law firm because they hadn't heard from you in a while and saw another firm's marketing and thought, this firm seems keen and proactive, let's give them a try. When this happens, when you lose a client to the indifference trap, you don't just lose the client, you lose all the additional profit that the client could have brought you from repeat instructions or from instructing you for different legal services or from referring you to their friends, colleagues, or other business owners. And not only are you left having to replace that client by spending more time and money on getting a new client through the door, but it's also going to cost you more time and money to onboard that new client once you've won their business. So you start with a net loss, simply because you didn't do enough to keep the client you'd already worked with. This is why maximizing every client is the single most important thing you can do to increase profits in your law firm without the time and money cost of acquiring and onboarding new clients. Now, the second area of maximize that you need to think about increasing or protecting is your time. Of all your resources, this is the most precious one because it is finite. And it's not only about how much time you have, but the quality of the time you spend both in and out of your law firm. Most law firm owners I speak to tell me they're so busy working in the firm, they don't have time to work on the firm. Meaning there's little time for strategy, business development, management, and leadership of their firm. They're not spending enough, if any, time in the role of CEO in their business. We don't use the term of CEO in law firms much. There's normally a managing partner or a senior partner or both. But neither of these roles really encompasses what a CEO really does. Set strategy, lead the firm, and manage the overall operations. I'll dive deeper into why you need to be the CEO of your law firm and the mindset shift you need in order to fully adopt this role in episode 5. But for now, it's important to realize that how you spend your time in your law firm is inextricably linked to the results your law firm will produce for you. This is a bit like what happens when you go to the gym. You can spend an hour in a structured routine, or you can stroll about and look at your phone and do whatever takes your fancy. In both cases, you're spending an hour at the gym. But you and I both know which one will get you better results. Of course, if you want to build not just a high profit, but also a low stress law firm, you also need to think about the quality and quantity of the time you get to spend outside your law firm. Your personal life, family relationships, holidays, time with friends, hobbies, all these things matter. So even if you're successfully performing the CEO role inside your law firm and seeing the financial results from it, if you don't have enough quality time doing the other things that are important to you, I doubt you'll be stress-free or happy. So how you spend time is important. And of course, the time you have is limited. You're just one person. You can't do it all, which means that unless we're prepared to limit our growth potential to the ceiling of the amount of personal time we can put into the business, we need to buy in more time in the form of a team. But it costs money and time to recruit, train, supervise those team members. I talked in more detail about the true costs of hiring staff in episode 2. So there's a step to consider before you hire more team, which is to make sure you're maximizing the time you and your team already have available. We'll look at this in more detail in a future episode, because this is another key opportunity to increase profit whilst making sure you don't spend all your time working and can enjoy the lifestyle you want. Now, if any one of these 3 core areas of attract, convert, and maximize is not working properly, it's virtually impossible to have a freedom firm with the ideal balance of clients, profits, and time back. That's because if any of these 3 core areas is missing or not performing correctly, it's like having the brakes on in your journey towards these goals. Think of it this way: a missing or broken area, such as convert, is like having the parking brake jammed on in the vehicle you're using for this growth journey. It's going to slow you down along the way, perhaps even cause burnout before you get there. For this reason, it's essential to analyze how well each core area is performing in your law firm and take action to improve the weaker areas quickly to get the brakes off. And this analysis is an important initial step where I take with all my clients. So in the next episode, I'll walk you through the profitable practice framework to analyze your attract, your convert, and your maximize, and to discover which areas of your law firm are holding you back from being more profitable or keeping you working too many hours for too little return. This exercise will give you a starting point for creating the highest profit, low stress law firm that you really want. And you can download your copy of today's framework, the Profitable Practice Model, from the link in the show notes or by visiting www.thebusinessinstructor.com/model. And I'll see you back here for the next episode. Until next time.
You've been listening to Breaking the £1 Million Myth. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a rating and review. And you can discover more proven strategies for profitable law firm growth at www.thebusinessinstructor.com.
Hey, video's already finished and you're still here. I've already gone outside to get some fresh air and some sunshine, as you can tell. But if you're looking for other things to do, here's some tips. Firstly, do what I recommended in that episode, because ideas don't change things, action changes things. Secondly, I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe to this podcast so I know you like it and I'm encouraged to make some more episodes for you. And thirdly, if you'd like to continue the conversation that I started in this episode, leave a comment below and I'll reply. Lastly, if you've done all those things, then here's my tip for you. Take a break and do something fun, like I'm about to do, enjoying the sun and a little bit of breeze. See you next time.